Hello my little friends from Mother Russia. Welcome to the Admin Guide channel, and today we will continue our series of videos about deploying an IT infrastructure for the small business company. We already installed ESXi hypervisor, created a vmfs datastore on it on the USB flash near the hypervisor, and today we will deploy the first element of the infrastructure. It's a router. We will use Untangle NG Firewall because it's free. It have pretty good functionality, and we can do it fast. And just after the deploying of Untangle, deploying all the infrastructure, we can think about what to use to change the Untangle to another router. First of all, we will create a network configuration of ESXi, create the missed virtual switches, port groups, and on all of them we will deploy our router. Excuse me for my bad English, and let's continue. Here is our hypervisor that we will use like a stand for this series of videos. First of all, we need to create network interfaces. My hypervisor have 4 interfaces: vmnic 0, 1, 2, and 3. On the vmnic 0 there was automatically created virtual switch 0. And on this virtual switch was automatically created VM network and management network. We will use 2 interfaces, one for the WAN interface and another for LAN interface. And for LAN interface we will use VM network port group. We will just rename it, and this switch 0. Now first of all, let's create from vmnic the one interface, one switch. We will name it bswitch 3. Here is 100 megabits uplink to the provider, and let's for the future create the LAN interface, name it testing grounds. Oh, no, the wrong name. The name of the interface of the switch is switch 1. And now let's add port group 1 and use the virtual switch 3 for it. Let's rename VM network into the LAN, and add another port group that based on the virtual switch 1. It will be called testing grounds, and we will use it for test some functionality before deploy it to the production. Production will run in the LAN interface, and this interface will be connected via patch code, a cable, to the physical switch where will be connected all another infrastructure, laptops, computers, printers, Wi-Fi access points, and everything else that small business use. Well, we have two interfaces that we need now, and let's create our router. It will be named NG Admin Guide Gateway AGGW. GSTS family is Linux. Current Untangle distributive use Debian 10 64-bit. Just a second, I forgot to create a USB data store, and it will take some time. We will continue in a few seconds for you. Well, let's continue. Again, fill all the files. Because this is the gateway, it's very critical for the infrastructure, so we will put it into the RAID 1 to make more safe exploitation. Add second interface. First will be WAN, second will be LAN. One more CPU, and this is more than enough for our usage. Oh, forget to mount the ISO image. Something wrong. Just a second. Yes, here is an old one. Now everything is okay, and then let's run our virtual machine. We will use graphical install. Select your language, select your location. For me is Russia. Select your keyboard layout. I use American English. After the additional components was loaded, select your time zone. And apply changes. And I will pause the video, so we will continue after the Untangle will finish installation. Installation finished, let's continue. Launch client. Here it is. And let's begin. Accept EULA. Set up password. And let's configure network cards. You must verify that Untangle detected the external interface right. Look on the MAC address. Check here that 1 is the same MAC address that Untangle detected, and the LAN is the same MAC address like we need. I have an uplink from another router, so I just use the DHCP configuration. If you have some static configurations, you can set it up here, but I will use DHCP. Test connection. Okay. I will use the more common subnet is 1.1 with DHCP server inside. We will need it on the first few deploys. After all, we will change the DHCP server and we'll use the Active Directory controller as the DHCP server, Linux Active Directory controller. We need to create an account or use our existing account if we have. Let's install recommended applications. let's turn off all not free applications. We don't need them very much, and most of them have free versions. Just because of these free versions, we use Untangle. Without them, we could use any other appliance, for example IPFire or vmfs or ClearOS. All of them have free applications, but we will use Untangle for now because it's quick and easy to deploy and configure. For now, you can deploy any virtual machine on the ESXi server and configure it to use LAN port group, and the Untangle will let this virtual machine to go to the internet. Or you can connect the LAN interface with the external switch and connect to this switch any laptop or other device, and Untangle will let this device go to the internet too. Now we are administering through the console interface, but if you need to access to the Untangle via WAN interface, you need to go to the config, network, advanced access rules, and enable this rule. It will let you to access to the Untangle via WAN interface while you are deploying the whole infrastructure. And of course you can use the official website where you can access to the Untangle via dashboard. Very useful thing. And we will need NAT rules, port forwarding rules, and we need to know where to turn on or turn off the DHCP server and how to configure it. About applications, I always install the virus blocker lite, spam blocker lite, application control lite, fish blocker, ad blocker. About one failover and one balancer, there is no any free solution in the Untangle. Any of these solutions cost money, and very big amount of money as for Russia, but this problem you can solve by the hardware. If you have some router, cheap router that can release the load balancing or failover. And Untangle is useful because of his applications, his free applications: captive portal, ad blocker, virus blocker. Every these applications is free. It's the limited functionality, but it's more than enough for the small business in the beginning. And that's all for today. We will continue in the next video and discuss another new problem that we can face during the deploying of the infrastructure for the small business. Subscribe, press like, ask questions in the comments. I always try to answer all questions that you send. Goodbye.